Finally, we got it going. It took us a minute to get here. We're back. Let's go.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the 24-hour show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're your hosts, Brittany and Eddie.
Yeah, Hood Retail Show. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. And, just had to let you guys know our favorite sport is investing, so that's why we're here.
I was going to say, is it the Super Bowl? I thought we were just watching Kendrick's concert today.
Halftime is game time. Yeah, we're so excited for just halftime, to be honest. Kendrick had a phenomenal year last year. So
Shout out to everybody in LA, TDE, his new label, his old, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a victory lap. And I know, it's Philly versus Kansas City, but it feels like LA won the Super Bowl. So yeah, this is going to be a good episode. It's in regards to stable coins, and it's perfect because last time we did an episode that wasn't in regards to Robinhood news. It was tokenization. So this is tokenization of dollars, and this is specifically called stable coins, collateralized dollars, whatever you want to call them. They're digital dollars. That's what they are. So we'll go ahead and talk about those today. Let's go ahead and do an overview. Why is this important to Robinhood?
All roads lead back to Robinhood.
all these roads will lead back to Robinhood. And the reason this is important is because Robinhood has obviously talked about tokenization recently. They've been fascinated with the stable coins. And if you're democratizing finance for all, that doesn't just mean, the United States. Although the US dollar is like one of the best products that the states have ever created, everyone doesn't have access to this product.
Democratize access to the dollar, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the cool part is it gives us a better status as the reserve currency. And if that's not cool enough, then protecting people's countries' currencies from inflation. There's that, but there's actually a lot of cool things about what stable coins can do for people outside of the U.S.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people in the States don't really see the power in the USDCs, USDTs, USDGs. They don't see the power in.
And that is really because we have the dominant currency.
Yeah,
for now. So
and you have access to dollars. So these other people don't have access to dollars. They don't have access to the yields that we have, whether it be in your Robinhood app or in a high yield savings account. So these stable coins are safe and they're transparent. So we'll go ahead and we'll get an overview of what USDG is, because USDT right now is the global dominant stablecoin and they own a lot of the market share. But USDC is the next in line, and they have the next share of the market. USDT has been criticized with transparency issues. Obviously, they are supposed to be holding dollars, T-bills, U.S. reserves type of currencies. We're not sure. They haven't gave us proof of reserves. But
they do have I don't know if it's a monthly or a quarterly report that they give of what their assets are, but that is not the same as somebody going in and reviewing their inventory and actually taking a look.
And so when you go from USDT and you're like, oh, these guys are obviously dominant. What's the next one? USDC. That's Circle, Coinbase. Obviously, they have a huge market share too. But Robinhood has joined another network called USDG, and we'll be getting into that today.
So there's a coin, the USDG, and then there's also the network, the USDG. And right now, just to put it very simply and plainly, a stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency designed to minimize the volatility typically associated with digital currencies like Bitcoin or ETH. Basically, a bridge between traditional finance and cryptocurrencies, enabling easier conversion and less exposure to market swings. Like Eddie said, just a way to have access to the USD or whatever, the dollar or whatever fiat currency you're interested in.
And if you hold the US dollar, you now, once technologies evolve, you'll have access to other markets. You'll be able to buy, tokenized stocks, or you'll be able to buy other tokenized assets because you have a US dollar and it's proven that, it could be verified on chain. It's really cool. I mean, I don't really like the idea of a centralized stable coin, but privatized stable coins in the way the competition's kind of working out now feels strong. It feels good for global markets. That's how I feel.
I agree. And with it looks like very soon we'll be having some regulation clarity on stablecoins. We just saw a senator propose a bill that will be coming up later this month to be spoken to with Congress about stablecoin regularity. We're kind of falling behind right now in the US. I see the EU, Singapore,
Yeah.
so many Asian countries, so many European countries. They're really trailblazing right now, and it's leaving us kind of in the dust. And that although we do have the most desired currency right now, that can quickly change overnight.
Yeah, we talked about Vlad's letter, open letter, op-ed in regards to tokenization, and it was a real.
We'll link that if you haven't read that. It's a great read.
Yeah, we did it in a couple of shows, but in basically what he's saying is he wants to push for this regulatory framework for stable coins, tokenized assets. I think stable coins will open up the whole door for, like I said, this is tokenized dollars. So if you can tokenize dollars, you can tokenize real estate, you can tokenize stocks. But I think you have to kick in the door, and he's pretty much pleading with our regulation. Obviously, he's been beefing with regulation from the SEC to the CFTC, and now we're kind of getting to this point where Robinhood doesn't even want to drop their own stablecoin, like that rumor went back a while ago.
Yeah.
They actually are partnering with the network of other people, other trusted businesses that would like to participate in kicking down the door for global stable coins and issuance in different places. So I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
believe Robinhood, Kraken, Paxos, Nuve, Anchorage, Digital, Bullish, and a few others are partnered in this US dollar global network. The CEO of Paxos mentioned that it's open. These are just the companies that have joined them right now for the roll up, but this is open for everybody. This
Institutions,
is
yeah, you can really get part of this. And the cool thing about what this stable coin will be doing, and we'll listen to what Vlad has to say about it. We'll also listen to what Charles has to say about it. But what it's going to do is it's going to give access to people to dollars, and then you're also going to get access to yield. And that's like, to us, that's so like regular everyday stuff, but to like other countries who like have are hyperinflation or on the risk of that, or don't have access to invest, this is gonna game change everything.
I believe the last time I got any yield on my USDC was through that whole Celsius fiasco. If you know, you know.
Don't chase yield.
Yeah, don't chase yield. But this in a decentralized setting, this is actually you're a part of the network. You're contributing to the network. You're getting rewarded for contributing to the network. This is a whole different framework, and I'm pretty bullish on
I
it.
think it fits cool into Robinhood's like arsenal because they already give us such a high yield as gold
Yes.
subscribers in the app. And so they're okay with leveraging large amounts of money, taking a little bit as a fee, and then passing the rest of the value to investors, right?
Yes, with
And
this fee
it's the
set,
same thing.
yeah, with this fee setup, it's Paxos that will be collecting a 3% fee. I don't believe that Robinhood or any of the other brokerages or partners that are joining them will be receiving any kind of.
No, they gotta get some of that fee, man.
They'll be
We're
getting.
pulling out if we're not getting a fee.
I think it's mainly like you're getting the yield because you're a
Get
part
Vlad
of
on the phone.
But you want that. So Charles states that 97% of the yield goes back immediately to the network, which are the users.
That's cool because rarely are businesses doing that. They always want to have the cake and eat it too, and they don't want to share. So let's see what Vlad had to say about this.
So stablecoins were a huge sleeper story in crypto this year. And I think as the year got started, people's eyeballs were popping out of their heads looking at Tether's profitability. And Robinhood recently backed the global dollar, aka USDG, which is a new stablecoin out of Singapore. It also has investment from Anchorage Digital,
Singapore
Bullish,
is
Galaxy
exploding
Digital,
right now.
Kraken, etc. What about USDG appeal to Robinhood?
Yeah, I think the idea that I got very excited about is stablecoins have gotten a ton of adoption overseas as a way to get exposure to US dollars, particularly in countries where the local currency might be devaluing quite a bit. And so if you look at volumes, there was a stat that was released a couple of months ago about Tether on Tron network. and how Tether on Tron actually surpassed Visa's daily transaction volume.
That's crazy.
And I think that speaks to the power of this technology to facilitate holding of real world assets. And one analogy that I think works is stablecoins are basically like an improved version of a traveler's check, right?
Yeah.
It's like you used to have traveler's checks for when you wanted to spend money overseas. American Express was big in that space. And a lot of times people actually use those as a way to store value. Let's say your local currency was devaluing. If you could get your hands on American Express traveler's checks, you could actually safeguard that over a longer period of time and move your assets away from rapidly inflating currency. And then, this was something I unfortunately experienced firsthand growing up because in the early 90s, Bulgaria entered just a brutal pang of hyperinflation. I mean, the inflation rate in 1991 was something like 150%. And then by 1996 and 97,
Shout out to the homies
it was in the
Bulgaria.
thousands of percent. So it had the unwelcome distinction of the highest inflation rate in the world for a year or two there. So it beat out South African countries, right? Which is not a great distinction. But people were really thinking about this, and it was kind of front and center. How do I get my hands on dollars? My grandparents didn't have access to them, and so they would collect. They had this closet in their apartment where they would put copper cookware, pots and pans, as a way to store wealth. So by introducing stable coins, we can solve that problem for people in a digital way. And not only that, if you look at some of the problems, you mentioned Tether and how much money they're making. The reason they're making so much is because they don't share the yield with the end users. And so in some ways, if you can access dollars in a traditional bank account and earn yield on that, you're better off doing that because your dollars are actually generating an interest rate in a high rate environment that can be significant. So if we can kind of marry both and deliver yield to stable coin holders directly, I think that would be a very, very strong value proposition. And that's what we hope to enable with the Dollar Global Network.
Oh, so basically that would be the differentiator between probably USDG and then the two other top reserve-backed coins, which are Tether and USDC. Is that what you're saying, that would be how it would plan to compete?
I think there's a number of things, but in terms of what's valuable to an end customer, getting a very competitive yield to your crypto wallet
daily
for holding dollars, I think is going to be the next step in stablecoin adoption.
Looking in your wallet every day, just seeing a little.
All right. So as we alluded to earlier,
let's.
There's been.
That's great. That one's a great interview. I love when Vlad gets on.
Gets me bullish.
He gets
for
on these
everything
crypto
he talks
podcasts
about.
though, and he gets super nerdy. I love it. Like he can't get like this on like Squawk Box or you name it. Like he literally. Or even just like a traditional podcast, like he has to like dumb it down and just with the Unchained or Bankless. If you watch his crypto podcast, he gets super nerdy, and it makes you understand the company more and like where his focus is, So
and where the future is headed for the company.
Yeah, no. So what did you think about that video?
I enjoyed it. I think it's absolutely crazy that Tether surpassed Visa's transactions. Like that's insane. But it makes total sense when you're dealing with a 3% charge. Especially when you're traveling, you have to pay that 3% plus the conversion rate. It's it could be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This is just really a way to protect your dollars.
Yeah, I don't like the not transparency or lack of transparency. I also don't like that.
I mean, so many of these stable coins have gotten sanctions because of lack of transparency.
I don't like that they're not passing off the rewards too, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest problem.
For anybody who's like, "Hey, yo, I heard stable coins weren't like always stable," and it's like, okay, well, there's stable coins that do it the right way with U.S. backed assets, and then there's like algorithmic stable coins that do not work.
So
they've been proven.
We have fiat collateralized. We have commodities, golds backed, Paxos Gold, those kinds of collateralized, and then we have algorithmic. And I think that is, when we say safe, we're not speaking about the algorithmic backed
Never.
stable coins, because
They
that
always fail.
yeah, it just does not seem to work out, or I haven't heard of an example where it's working out in a way that is providing transparency, showing you exactly what's going on. And I just don't think that that is going to be included in the regulatory framework when these are much more accepted in the States.
Yeah, no, it's cool though, because I think a lot of I think the way you're going to get people in the States to adopt this technology, because obviously it's better that you just hold it in a yield bearing account. It's going to be this type of technology, what USDG is doing. What these guys are passing along the rewards. This like, why am I tokenizing my dollars? Like, it's like everyone needs those reasons, and right now the people in the States don't really have the reasons to buy stable coins. You might as well just put dollars under your mattress or something.
But let's say BRICS succeeds. That can change overnight, that we don't need stable coins. Anything can happen. Let's say the US dollar is no longer dominant.
Well, then what are you pegging it to? You know what I'm saying? What is it?
Hope you have a I don't know. Gold. Yeah, I got a gold back one.
But this access that people are gonna have, I think that's awesome, and there's already a legit amount of utility for tokenizing dollars. But the one that USDG is doing, with passing the value back to people daily, possibly into your wallet without you doing anything, I think that is like the future of finance, where it's like, I shouldn't have to sign up and do all this shit and get access and da da da. It's like, I should be yielding off of the network of money that I'm holding. Like,
yeah, and you're not even just earning yield on what you're holding. You are earning yield for your activity in the network. So you transferring money on, you transferring money off, just being an active user and having the network grow. You're getting paid to grow the network. You don't get paid for, I don't know, loaning your money to Chase Bank, to JP Morgan.
I love this because it's still on brand with what Robinhood's trying to do. They're trying to give access to everybody, and if more people have access globally, that just benefits Robinhood specifically. That benefits, the US economy, that benefits our dollar. It's cool that people are able to come up with this different utility. Even PayPal is doing it. They actually have their coin made by the same issuer, Paxos. Yeah, Paxos. So
I love that you say that, because Robinhood, obviously, Vlad, democratizing finance for all. Charles of Paxos, he believes that stablecoins are to democratize access to the US dollar. And I love that Paxos has come out with the likes of the PayPal, PYUSD, Pax Gold, which is PAXG, which is Pax Gold, the Pax Dollar USDP, Lyft Dollar USDL, which we just saw them do.
All these USDs, man.
Yeah, we are really leading the way right now, but it's crazy to have all these USDs and we are not the ones trailblazing the way in this stablecoin space, in the crypto space. It's kind of unfortunate. It's a missed opportunity, but hopefully with regulation coming soon, that will change. And
you want to listen to what Charles had to say about
Yeah, let's go to Charles. All Charles right. Of Paxos.
On that note, is that the global dollar stablecoin news, where it's backed by Robinhood, Kraken Exchange, and some other folks like Galaxy Digital?
Exactly. And so the way we've set that community coin up is that there are two elements. One is that you have the actual regulated token, USDG, issued out of Singapore. It's a dollar stable coin. It's issued by a ring-fenced entity. So the entity doesn't do anything aside from issue. And it holds dollars and T-bills and overnight repo. So extremely secure, one-to-one backed. And it's a traditional dollar stable coin that is prudentially regulated by a primary regulator, which is the Monetary Authority of Singapore. And we earn a fee as the issuer, an asset management fee. And so that's the token. Then there is the network, which we're calling the Global Dollar Network.
On that note, is that the global dollar stablecoin news, where it's backed by?
He just explained it, what like the actual token is, the coin. It's pretty much the yield-bearing asset that we've been talking about, which is separate from the network, like Brittany was saying. And this is this guy. He's really smart. He's done actually so many different things. He's been
doing this since 2012, since we were in high school. he's been working on getting stablecoin issuance in the States.
It's such a cool technology though. So for you to be like, every year it's like, this is the year people are going to really adopt this. It's like, it's super hard to tell. Like it sucks, but people are only going to cling to life-changing technology like this in desperate need. So it's like,
that's a great point. People always say innovate for the regulation to come, not for, because if you're innovating for the regulation that has already been passed, you're probably a little too late to really make it as like a gold rush in that sector. But these people have been waiting for over a decade.
Yeah.
It's honestly insane that we are able to get in on the frontier, as they like to call it, but it's
yeah, a lot
really
of people don't
exciting
even
time.
hear about this. They don't care about this. It's cool for me personally because it's like over the last whatever, like let's just say, I mean, even if you don't count the beginning years of Bitcoin, it's like, let's just say the last 10 years, new asset classes have literally popped up, like crypto and blockchain technology. And, you know, and then inside of this little asset class, there's all these sub asset classes like tokenized dollars and stuff like that. So DeFi, and this stuff really gets cool, like the more you dig into it, but a lot of people aren't even talking about it yet. And it's kind of cool to see which ones are like gonna pedal out, you know, it's gonna be, they're obviously use cases, but only time will tell of like who's going to come out on top. And I think having a network of trusted platforms like Kraken and Robinhood, I think that's going to be what people gravitate to, because they're going to end up using technology that they don't even know they're using. They're just in the app using USDG, but they don't know that they're just getting yields. And you know, it's cool. You know, there'll be disclosures and stuff, but what I'm saying is like, when I send an email, you don't know anything about the HTTPS protocol. You know, you just see the email and you write back. Well, you're going to receive these dollars and receive your yield in the same way without having to know all the backstory and tech. But, you know, the nerds who are showing up to, you know, shows like this, they'll, you know, we'll have a little edge on what, like Brittany was saying, we'll skate to where the puck is going, not where it's been. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I do want to just mention that this is backed by a reserve of cash or cash equivalents, ensuring the peg to the US dollar. Regular reserve reports are published to maintain transparency. So they are publishing reports, letting you know, and they actually tell you.
Why does it have to be pegged to the US dollar? Why can't it just be stuck to the US dollar?
I love that word. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it every single chance I get. But yeah, they have their vaults in the EU, I believe. And it's an exciting time. Like Charles said, this is the time to get involved. And if you have a company and you'd like to be a part of the network, and you can be brokerage, issuer, you know, there's so many different roles to be filled. I would definitely say get involved. This is so important. 85% of people have phones. Phones have only, like cellular phone, smartphones.
Mobile phones, yeah.
Have only been around for a couple of decades, while banks have been around forever, and more than 50%, 35 to 50% of people outside of the U.S. still don't have access to banks or bank accounts. So this is truly...
and banking's been around since man's fucking first got greedy, you know, so...
Yeah.
Well,
unbank yourself, or if you happen to be unbanked, this is the way to protect yourself against that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the 24 Hood Retail Show. You know, it's been a, you know, a lot of media events and stuff that come with Robinhood. So if we're not catching up on the daily, you know, bullshit from, you know, CFTC and stuff, we're not giving you the daily news. We're going to jump into episodes like this where we kind of dig deep into some technology or partnerships that Robinhood's using. So
also, if you see any news you feel like we should cover, please feel free to tag us on X at Britty's Bliss and
Ed Monies.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you at the next show. Goodbye.